about this, Herc? TSN, and out of Canada, reporting that Canada's soccer's finances, Canada Soccer, of course, the Canadian Federation, are so bad that they may have to file for bankruptcy and even be forced to skip the September and October international windows. This, of course, with the Canadian women's national team, the reigning Olympic champions, weeks away from participating in a World Cup. Herc, it sounds like a case of a federation setting their national teams back. What do you make of it?
It's exactly what it is. I mean, imagine this. Imagine a company, a Canadian soccer business, CSB, negotiating a TV rights deal for, let me check notes, one for that goes until 2037 that only pays about $3 or $4 million annually to its federation. What are you doing? All of a sudden, Canadian football is valuable. All of a sudden, they have fans, they have support, and this is what you're doing. And now you might have to file bankruptcy, and now they may not even be able to play games. And it's on the heels of sending your women to a World Cup. I mean, these are things we used to hear about in CONCACAF. This is like FIFA-gate stuff we're talking about here.
Yeah. No, it's deeply concerning, Herc. And what I'm most interested is when this is finally coming out. And it's finally coming out, Herc. You know when? When soccer people get in charge, okay? Jason DeVos was a guy on the Gold Cup winning Canadian team back in 2000. He's kind of now the interim head of Canada Soccer in this moment of crisis. But let's talk about the recent presidents, the recent folks who have been in charge, right? Nick Bontis, business professor. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay. The guy before him.
Oh, yeah.
Another money guy. The guy before him, and trust me, Canada Soccer's issues, they run deep. They run historic. Victor Montagliani, who right now is the president of CONCACAF. So we got big questions here, and I mean big questions, and we have some big names that ought to have some answers, Herc. Because to your point about serious mismanagement of a major opportunity, according to the TSN reports, the cash reserves for Canada Soccer have gone from $7.1 million to $2.4 million from 2021 to the end of 2022. So you lost all that money in a year. You sent your men's team to their first World Cup in 36 years, and on the year after, your women brought back Olympic gold. I mean, that is a huge botch. And Herc, to your point about the deal, okay? Canada Soccer signed an exclusive marketing deal, gave away essentially all of their marketing rights to one company. If that sounds familiar to fans in this country, it should. Because for many, many years, that's what the U.S. Soccer Federation did with Soccer United Marketing, which was owned, of course, wholly by Major League Soccer. And for people who think that this stuff doesn't matter, think about all the legal bills that U.S. Soccer has rung up over the years, and then ask yourself, whose interests were they representing? Whose interests were they representing? In whose interest was it to get involved in legal fights with your players? Doesn't sound like the Federation's interest. So that's why when you sell your marketing rights to somebody, you better know well who you're in business in, because right now, Canada's in big trouble. And Herc, I do think this puts a little bit different context on the comments from John Herdman at Nations League, because I thought they were born a little more of frustration. Absolutely. I think no. He was actually pointing that the house is on fire, and if somebody doesn't put it out soon, it's going to spill over onto the field.
Oh, no. I knew John Herdman was right. I mean, we've heard about these things even before the World Cup. Do you not remember they had an issue with the supplier, the official supplier? They actually wore the same jerseys they wore throughout World Cup qualifying. If you look at Canada's jerseys, they're probably the same ones they wore in the World Cup. They're the only team in this confederation that's not changed jerseys. Ask yourself why. And you also mentioned some Soccer United marketing. The Mexican national team still does business with them.
There you go. Hands in all the pots around American soccer. By the way, as of now, I don't think, although Christine Sinclair, I saw something maybe earlier today, there might be a kind of tentative CBA with the women. As of right now, there's no CBA with the men or women for Canada Soccer. So lots to be resolved there in the coming days.